You've probably heard that Spain is one of the most popular destinations for expats in 2025. But does that mean it's too late to move here? Are Americans still welcome? And is it still a good place for foreigners to live? In this video, I will cover what life in Spain is really like for expats in 2025, along with important things you should be aware of if you are planning on moving to Spain. Let's go! So I recently had a subscriber of mine tell me he was worried about it being too late to move to Spain. Here's what he actually said. We are not sure about Spain. We are a little worried that we are too late to the trend. Are Americans viewed negatively now that Spain is so popular? It seems like Spain is changing its travel and residency visa rules. Really do like everything we see about Spain, but are concerned that we may be treated the same way some Americans treat people from other countries. And I explained to him that Spain has definitely become a popular spot for Americans, and I know there's been some talk about recent visa changes and how expats are perceived. However, there are only 42,000 Americans living in all of Spain, which is a tiny fraction of Spain's 47 million population. From my experience, it really depends on where you go. In big cities and expat-friendly areas such as Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Malaga, or Marbella, people are used to foreigners, and as long as you make an effort to integrate, you'll be welcomed. In smaller towns, it can be more challenging if you don't know basic Spanish, but again, there are places that are more international, such as Denia, Calpe, Estepona, or, for example, Torrevieja. Anywhere you go, there can be people who are skeptical of newcomers, but I wouldn't really give it too much attention. I know if you are part of some Facebook groups, it might feel like everybody is against you, but the reality is different. We feel very comfortable living in Spain, and my American husband has a very basic level of Spanish. He just always remains polite and respectful, and there is never any complaint or problem from locals or other expats. They are very friendly to us. As for visas, yes, Spain is making some changes to visas, such as the golden visa that will be discontinued soon, but there are still great options for Americans looking to move, such as the Digital Nomad Visa or non-lucrative visa. The requirements have gotten a bit stricter in 2025, but they are still relatively easy to qualify for. By the way, I actually have two checklists for the Digital Nomad Visa and for the non-lucrative visa that contain all the required documents you need to successfully apply for the visa. These checklists will save you a lot of time researching and updated requirements for these visas in 2025, and you can click the link in the description below to download them. So that's the advice I gave to my subscriber, and that's what I would say to anyone looking to move. Most of all, if your goal is to live in Spain, don't let what you watch on the news or hear in Facebook groups scare you away. Most of it is exaggerated, and it's not nearly as big of a problem as some people make it out to be. I still believe Spain is one of the best countries for expats in 2025. The people are very friendly, and we haven't encountered a single person who was racist or unfriendly to expats since we lived here. It's been only a positive experience in terms of how people have treated us. So with that said, let's go into some more reasons why Spain is so popular among expats, starting with lifestyle and quality of life. This is the number one reason people move to Spain. You obviously don't come here for the job opportunities, you come here to enjoy your life. In fact, surveys from Expat Insider have ranked Spain as the number one country for expats in terms of quality of life, and it's held this position for the last 3 years in a row. And it's easy to understand why. In Spain, you work to live rather than you live to work like in America. You come to enjoy the great weather, Mediterranean lifestyle, and relaxed pace. At least that's what you'll find in most parts of Spain. Of course, you can still find the hustle and bustle of a big city life in places like Madrid or Barcelona, but even there, people typically aren't as stressed and rushed as they're in a place like New York or any major American city. And as life in places like the US and UK seems to get more difficult and stressful with every year that goes by, everyday life in Spain is tranquilo. This is a big part of the reason why my husband and I decided to move from the US to Spain. We didn't have a life in America. Everything was all about work. But in Europe, there is more to life than just work. And on top of that, I'd say that life is just richer in Europe, regardless of how much money you have. In America, even if you are a millionaire, you probably still live in a boring suburb in an ugly city. And there are many Americans who make a lot of money, but who are stressed, unhealthy, and unhappy. But in Spain, even poor people have access to things like the beautiful walkable cities, high quality food, a strong sense of community, and cultural events that are completely free. An expat friend of mine said it best: I'd rather be poor in Europe than rich in the United States. So if you're looking for a richer quality of life, Spain will make you feel truly rich in every sense of the word, not just in terms of money. And that brings me to the next point, which is the thriving expat community in Spain. For example, my husband works in digital marketing and he always wanted to have a community of like-minded people he could surround himself with. And he wanted to have such a community in the United States, but he couldn't find it. In the US, it's hard to actually meet like-minded people because everyone is very isolated. Plus, you don't have the culture in the US of going to the city center to meet a friend, walking to a nearby cafe, and then taking a stroll in the park while having a great conversation. But this is a normal thing here in Spain. And because Spain is such a hot spot for expats in 2025, it's very easy to make friends here. And there is thriving community of expats in every major city. For example, in the US, the only way my husband could meet with people in his industry was to go to expensive events for a couple days. And he had to fly to another city, book a hotel, and make a major commitment just to do it. But here in Valencia, he actually has several friends in his industry who have also recently moved here, and he's able to easily meet up with them. So he actually has a much better professional network in Spain than he ever did in the US. And that's why Spain is not only a great place in terms of lifestyle, but you can also have a business or a career that thrives here as long as you work remotely. Everyone knows that finding a job in Spain is difficult, so I don't recommend moving here if you are looking for work. But if you have a remote business in the United States, for example, or if you work for a US or UK company, then you can continue to thrive in your work while still enjoying the lifestyle benefits that Spain has to offer. And that brings me to the next point, which is the weather. We live in Valencia and the weather is mostly pleasant all year round. Actually, it's funny because the week I'm recording this video, it's been raining all week, but here it's rather unusual. The Mediterranean coast gets over 300 days of sunshine per year, whether you live in Valencia, Barcelona, Marbella, or any other coastal city in southern Spain. It can get quite hot and humid during these 3 months in summer, so for people who don't like the heat, it can be a bit intense during that time. The most important thing is to make sure that you can get an apartment with air conditioning if you're planning to move here, because that makes a big difference during the hot summer months. The same is true for Madrid, but it has more a desert climate with more extreme temperatures where summer is even hotter and winter is colder than in cities like Valencia and Barcelona. It's only in the north of Spain, like places like Bilbao or Galicia, that the weather is much colder since it's right near the Atlantic Ocean. But Spain still generally has some of the best weather in Europe, and many people from Northern Europe have winter homes in Spain to get out of the cold from their home country. For me, the weather is one of my favorite things about living in Spain since I hate cold, cloudy weather. When the sun is shining almost every day and the weather is pleasant, it has a big impact on your mood and you just feel happier. My husband and I are able to go for morning walks in December and January just wearing a light jacket, enjoying a sunny day in the park and even in the middle of winter. So if you're used to snow and freezing winters and you want to move to a place with warm weather all year round, you'll love the climate in Spain. And the last thing is attractive visa options. So Spain has one of the best visas in Europe compared with other visas in Europe that are much harder to qualify for. Spain's visa requirements are pretty attainable. For example, if you work remotely and make at least $3,000 per month, you may qualify for the Digital Nomad Visa, which allows you to live in Spain for up to 5 years and then apply for permanent residency and eventually citizenship. How cool is that? You can also apply for it directly in Spain and get a positive resolution within only 20 business days, which makes it much faster and more convenient than most other visas, which can take months or even over a year to get approved. And if you don't work remotely but have passive income or savings, Spain has another good visa option, which is the non-lucrative visa. If you have at least $31,000 in savings or enough passive income to sustain yourself, you can get the visa for a year and renew it every year as long as you continue to meet the requirements. And like the Digital Nomad Visa, if you renew it for 5 years, you can also apply for permanent residence and then citizenship. So if you are interested in either of these visas, check out the links in the description to download my checklist that will walk you through the requirements step by step. And if you're looking for a done-for-you relocation service where my team and I will help you with every part of the moving process, including getting your visa, securing an apartment, enrolling your kids into schools, and much, much more, then you can also book a free consultation with me. The link to book a call is also in the description. So that's it for today's video and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want more content like this, I made another video comparing the expectations versus reality of living in Spain. You can go here next to watch it and I'll see you next week. Hasta pronto!